Well, good morning. Welcome back. Today we're going to fix a cake. It's called the Depression cake, World War II cake, World War One. It's been around for a long time. But the main reason it's called Depression cake because it does not have any milk or eggs in it. Now my grandparents, both sides, grew up through the Depression. Both families did. But they were on opposite ends. My mother's father, he came from a well-to-do family. He was kind of the playboy of the group, of the kids. Well, he was the only son, and he was the playboy. And he didn't mind spending his dad's money. So I remember, years ago, I talked to my grandfather, and he had all these tattoos that he had got at carnivals. And the funny part about it, he was now, when he was alive, he was a deacon of a church. He always wore long sleeve because some of them were not too appropriate, let's say. But he made a good living for my grandmother. He married her, and she already had some kids, and they had two together. So the other side of the family, total opposites. They didn't talk about the Depression because they were sharecroppers. They didn't have a lot of stuff anyway. I'm sure it affected them, but they always had eggs. They always had milk. They milked cows, had their own chickens and all that. Living on a farm. So, but they never talked about the Depression at all. The only thing I ever knew that my dad, there wasn't anything that he didn't want to throw away anything. He kept anything because there might be some little something off there he could use, and guess what? There always was. So, and that trait was handed down to me. So, I'll put up some pictures of my grandparents on my father's side, the sharecroppers, so you'll know who I'm talking about. And I went looking for this recipe. I was looking for a Depression era pie, water pie, and I found it, and I've already posted a video on it. But in the same book, it said Depression cake. Now I would take some shots of this book, but I didn't buy it. It wasn't given to me. I don't want to get a copyright strike, and I don't think it would. Like I said, it says right on the front, you don't have permission to reproduce this. Well, this book was about 30 years old, 40 years old. I didn't want to take the chance. So I've just written down the information. That's public domain, as they call it. So let me get the camera around here and show you what we got. When I say I've written it down, I put it on some notepads here. Okay. So in this bowl, and you can use one bowl. It says a 9x9 glass pan. I don't have a 9x9. So I'm just going to pour. I'm going to make muffins, matter of fact. I'm going to pour it into muffins. It did say you could pour it into muffins. So in this bowl, got a half a cup of regular flour, just AP, I call it all-purpose. 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa. It's just Hershey's, non-sweetened. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 5 teaspoons of salt. I'm sorry, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Do not put 5 teaspoons of salt. You'll make cake jerky. So anyway, it just says mix this around. Make sure it's mixed it really good, which I'm going to do. And I hope all of y'all are doing well. Did your family, did you all grow up during the Depression? Did your family grow up during the Depression? Do you know how it was? I know that on my dad's side of the family, his first motorcycle was an old bicycle that him and his brother, this was in the, early 40s, had taken a motor off of an old washing machine someone had thrown away. They got the motor running. It was a gas motor back then. So, believe it or not, you could get a Maytag and it had a gas motor. Of course, you cranked it and it took off and did your washing and all that stuff. So anyway, they put it on an old bicycle frame, and he said you can almost push it faster than it would run, but it was his first motorcycle. That's probably why he had a love of cars, and I'm sure that's why I got the love of cars through him. So, all right, I think this is pretty stirred up here. Let me make sure here. Make sure there's no just white stuff down the bottom. No. All right. So for my wet ingredients, I've got 1 cup of coffee. Get that out of the way so you can see it. 1 cup of coffee, and poured it on top of it, I've got a 1/3 cup of oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and it's going to have 1 tablespoon of vinegar, which I have not poured yet. I will here right now. Let me get a spoon out of here. Let's see, tablespoon. Give me something that's got a tablespoon measurement. Yeah, here's one here. Dip my cocoa with here. Oh, goodness. Yeah, y'all know it's early. I've had a couple of sips of coffee and that was it. All right, so 1 tablespoon of white vinegar in the cup. 1 cup of coffee, cold coffee I made yesterday, put it in the fridge. 1/3 cup of oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, which I put in, 1 tablespoon of vinegar. And get this off here. And we're just going to use regular old white vinegar. Nothing special. Let's see if I can get these old wiggly hands to pouring this okay. I know you blocking, yeah, I should say. All right, there it is. Didn't go crazy and didn't spill a lot. All right, I'm going to blend this up. Don't know that you have to, the recipe said just put everything in one bowl. All the flour, all the dry ingredients, all the wet, and mix it together. I'm going to choose to do it like this. Like I say, we're going to do cupcakes. It said it made 1 9x9 square, 1 by 9 round, and you could double it and do 2 layers to do a layered cake. And don't worry about the coffee. It's not going to taste like coffee cake. For years I've made a cake that I put cold coffee in the batter, and it's just an ideal I had, because coffee and chocolate go together really good. And I thought one day I had a dream about making this cake. And one thing about it, if you mix it all in one bowl, the bowl you can cook it in, it's just less to clean up. But I want to make sure everything gets off the bottom. And with my old weak arms and hands, about all I can do to get this mixed up. So, but they're getting stronger. It's been about 18 months since I had my heart attack and went into rehab and came home in a wheelchair, and so I'm walking and talking and getting in trouble back again, so life must be back to normal. Alright, I believe that's good enough. Alright, let's see here. One thing about this batter, besides not having flour in it, but there's no eggs and no milk. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to taste it now and see what it tastes like. It tastes really good. All right. Let me get everything over here. And it says it'll make 8 cupcakes. Well, the problem is I wanted to use these big cupcake pans. These are pans. Somebody sent us some cupcakes one time, and these was years ago, and I kept this pan, and I just put new paper in it, and I got a double paper here. I don't want to be wasting that. All right. I'm gonna get a scoop. It's here so you can see. This is the best way to do cupcake batter. Do it in a scoop. Less mess. This other done. Yeah, I'm gonna have leftover for sure. I'm gonna go back and fill all of them, and then if I have any leftover, I have some little ramekins I'm gonna put some in. It won't be a lot left over though. I think these fat ones are gonna take care of all of it. Yeah. One that looks a little skinny here. And boys and girls, that's it. She's finished. Well, she's finished mixing anyway. So I was going to pour some into, if I had leftovers, into these little ramekins, but oh well, no problem. So I'm going to put these in my oven. It says cook them at 325 for about 25 minutes. My oven cooks really hot, so I'm going to start checking it in about 20 minutes. Get you up here. I'm going to start checking it in about 20 minutes with a toothpick. When the toothpick comes out clean, it may still have it just a little bit on it. Stop at that point. You don't want to dry these out. I don't want to dry any cake out. I don't like dried cake. So unless you're making one to put whipped cream and strawberries on and ice cream, that's totally different. But anyway, put your toothpick in, and you'll be able to look at them. If they don't jiggle anymore and they're kind of glazing over, put that toothpick in. If it slides in and pulls out, it's got a little crumb, yeah, you got her. All right, in the oven these are going, and I'll bring you back here in about 25 minutes. Let's check these chocolate cupcakes. The alarm's fixing to go off. I had to reset it. They were not done the first time. Check this in here. Still just a little moist. Too much. I'm going to put it on for 5 more minutes. I'll give you the total cooking time when we come back. You ever wonder what I'm doing while I'm waiting on my cakes to bake? Yeah, this morning I'm fixing breakfast. 3 eggs, a biscuit cut in half. Actually, it's a roll that came with some food, and a piece of sausage. Alright, let's check these. I bet they're done this time. You can see that one's got a dimple. That's where I checked it earlier. Kind of didn't rise too good after I checked it. Oh, it's perfect. They're good. They're good, they're good, they're good. Let's get these babies out so they can get to cooling. Well, these are pretty cupcakes. Pan's still a little warm. You can see the one I checked in it kind of failed, made a dimple. That don't matter at all. It'll taste just the same. So I'm gonna let these cool off. Probably 20 minutes or so. And I'll put some frosting on it. I'm gonna whip up some frosting during that time. It's just buttercream. It's the easiest frosting to make. Soft butter is what you want to use. Real butter, no salt in it. Mix it together with a whisk. A whisk is how I like to do it. Powdered confectionery sugar. You just have to, play it by the seat of the pants. Depends on how much you're making. Just start off with equal amounts of powdered sugar and butter, and then start adding more powdered sugar until it gets to the consistency you want it. And then a touch of vanilla. And a little bit of salt goes a long way in that. Mix it all together, let it cool down. It's not going to be hot, but let it set in the fridge, and then that's what I'm going to do. And we'll do these cupcakes with some milk chocolate frosting, as I call it. Anyway, I'll bring you back when these are cooled and I'm starting to put the frosting on them. And now, what am I going to do? I'm going to have my breakfast. Get y'all back in here in just a little bit. Alright, these have cooled down a little bit. I can't wait to taste it, so let's get a bite. The rest of them are not cooled down totally, but I'm impatient. I want to see what this tastes like. Alright, let's taste this muffin, because I'm impatient. Wife said that the coffee is great. She's just getting up, so.
I want to hear you. What'd you say?
I said I'm fixing to taste this muffin.
Okay.
Make sure it's cool enough to actually eat. It's still a little warm. Anxious to see what it tastes like. No milk, no eggs. I tasted the batter. It did not taste like coffee like you might think. Alright, Depression era cupcake. Not because I'm depressed, but from the depression. Oh, it's good. Very good. Still warm though. They're not ready to frost. They'll probably be 30 minutes before that. But I just had the taste of it. Hey, this is real cooking. I always tell y'all that. I'm the real deal. I just cook, and what you see is what you get. Nothing special, nothing no more. No test kitchens, no 2 or 3 batters cooked before to see how they turn out. You've seen it like I do. And this cake, it's good. It's very good. All right. I'm gonna let these cool on down, and I'll bring you back when I put the frosting on. When I put the pretty on top of them. These are gonna be really good. When I get the frosting on them, I'll be ready. Well, welcome back. It's been about an hour and a half on these cupcakes. We tasted that one without any frosting. It was really good. These have cooled down. So let's make the pretty on top of them. I've got a chocolate buttercream in here. I'll leave the recipe at the end of this video. It's been a while since I've done this, so oh yeah, I'll be able to do it. I thought I would try a little bit before I run a couple of them. I always start in the center and go out. It really don't matter. You know, they say you eat with your eyes, so I want to make them somewhat pretty. Get this oven up here. Don't take too long to do this. This buttercream is real easy to make. It's just butter, and there's no cream in it. It's just the butter and the powdered sugar, confectionery sugar, whatever you want to call it. And I use milk chocolate cocoa. All right. Well, not too bad. They're going to get covered up with pecans anyway. I believe these are going to be pretty good. You can see I'm concentrating because I shut up when I'm doing this. Those will kind of glue themselves in on that frosting. And a little bit more on this one over here. All right, boys and girls. Move that camera around so you better get a better look here. Depression era cake. No milk, no eggs. Turned into wonderful muffins. You got to try this. It's so good.